Okay, good evening, everyone. We are getting ready to start the meeting. So at this time, I will be muting the public's lines. If Councilwoman Ingwe, when I do so, can unmute her individual lines so that you can participate in the meeting.
All participants are muted and they can unmute themselves.
Okay, so if Councilwoman Ingwe can, are you on?
I am.
Okay, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for August 13, 2020 to order at 7:02 p.m. On roll call, Council members Fasolo.
Here.
Golobeck.
Here.
Ingwe.
Here.
Pellegrin.
Here.
Wetchler.
Here.
Council President Balistrary.
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum, and just for the public's record, Councilwoman Ingwe is participating by means of teleconference.
Thank you, Erin. We want to welcome you all here to our weekly meeting. This is our work meeting, was last week. This is actually our public meeting. Got a little confused there because we had two meetings scheduled for the month, and actually there's going to be a third one next week. So a little confusing. In any case, let's get started. We've got a lot to do. Can everyone please stand for a flag and prayer salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberation so that our deliberations will always please you and bring your peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special meeting notice in the Record in Herald News and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 8th, 2020. An additional notice reflecting the time change was published on April 21st, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being videotaped and will be on Cablevision Channel 77 on Monday at 3 p.m. and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. The video will also be available on the borough's website, which is www.elmwoodparknewjersey.us. Erin.
Please note that due to precautionary measures to help prevent the spread of COVID-19, we have a conference call set up for the public to call as a means of participating in tonight's meeting. For the public's information and record, the public's lines will be muted except for when we open up the meeting for scheduled public hearings and public comment. We thank you in advance for your patience during the operation of tonight's meeting. Under the approval of minutes this evening, we have the July 16, 2020 regular meeting.
May I have a motion on the minutes?
So, second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Fasolo.
Yes.
Golobeck.
Yes.
Ingwe.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler.
Yes.
Council President Balistrary.
Yes.
Motion carries. On the agenda before us, we have four special resolutions, with the first being Resolution R-308-20, appoint police officer Alphonse Scala. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following names be and is hereby appointed as a police officer in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park effective August 14, 2020, Alphonse Scala. Be it further resolved that remuneration is set at the rate as per the 2018 through 2025 PBA contract effective March 15, 2018.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingween,
I have to recuse myself because I have a family member who works for the police department.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Balistrary.
I abstain because I have a family member working for the police department.
Motion carries. At this time, if Officer Scala can please come up to the dais alongside his family to be sworn in by Mayor Coletti alongside Chief Foligno and Council Liaison, Councilwoman Pellegrin. It's down there. I have it all set up already.
All set? Okay, yourself? Good. Yeah, yeah. That's correct. That's correct. All right. Great moment for you, huh?
Yes.
I see you smiling. I assume these are your parents?
Yes.
Okay, they're glowing. You're smiling and they're glowing. Okay. I'm going to start. You repeat after me, and I'll say I, and then you say your name, and then everything after that. Okay? I, your name,
Alphonse Scala,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office,
all the duties of the office
police officer,
police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. We like to be in pictures too.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I?
Absolutely.
I'd just like to lower my voice first. Recognize retired police chief, Elmwood Park Police Chief Thomas Johnson. Chief?
Yeah, Tommy, how's retired life? There you go. You look very healthy. That's what retirement's all about, right? Get that fishing in and Erin.
Moving on to Resolution R-309-20, promotion to sergeant. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following named be and is hereby appointed as police sergeant in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park effective August 14th, 2020 as follows. Michael Prelick. Now therefore be it resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the New Jersey Civil Service Commission rules and regulations. And be it further resolved that the above named is entitled to the salary compliant with the current PBI collective bargaining agreement as per agreement between the officials of the Elmwood Park PBI local number 185 and the Borough of Elmwood Park.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingwe,
I'm sorry, I have to recuse against a relative who works for the police department.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Balistrary.
I also have to abstain because I have a family member working for the police department.
Motion carries. At this time, if Sergeant Prelate can now come up to the dais alongside his family to be sworn in by Mayor Robert Coletti, alongside Chief Foligno and Council Liaison, Councilwoman Pellegrin.
I'm sure you've done this before. Just once or twice? I
Michael Proud,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties of the office of,
and justly perform all the duties of the office of
very good, Sergeant,
Sergeant
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. One of you left, All right, you take the Bible? Probably should.
Moving on to Resolution R-310-20, promotion to Sergeant Michael Golden. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following names be and is hereby appointed as Police Sergeant in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park effective August 14, 2020 as follows. Michael Golden. Now therefore be it resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the New Jersey Civil Service Commission rules and regulations, and be it further resolved that the above name is entitled to the salary compliant with the current PBA collective bargaining agreement as per the agreement between the officials of the Elmwood Park PBA Local Number 185 and the Borough of Elmwood Park.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
So move. Second?
All in favor? Call the roll, please.
First by Fasolo, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingwe,
I'm sorry, Mike, I have to recuse because, I have a family member who's a police officer.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler. Council President Balistrary.
I abstain because I have a family member working for the police department.
Motion carries. Would Sergeant Golden please come up to the dais alongside his family to be sworn in as sergeant by Mayor Robert Coletti alongside Commissioner, Councilwoman Pellegrin, and Chief Foligno.
I think these two young ladies are a little too young to be police officers. Someday? Maybe? Okay. Following Daddy's footsteps. I, and your name. Everything after that. I
Michael Golden,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of
of
the State of New Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform all the duties
and justly perform all the duties
of the office of sergeant
of the office of sergeant,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Who dressed it?
Actually, it was me.
Well, Lorraine, we're certainly getting our exercise up and down here, right?
Moving on to Resolution R-311-20, promotion to Lieutenant Michael Kemp. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following named be and is hereby appointed as Police Lieutenant in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park effective August 14, 2020 as follows. Michael Kemp. Now therefore be it resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the New Jersey Civil Service Commission rules and regulations, and be it further resolved that the above named is entitled to the salary compliant with the current PBA collective bargaining agreement as per agreement between the officials of the Elmwood Park PBA Local Number 185 and the Borough of Elmwood Park.
May I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, Councilmembers Fasolo,
Yes.
Golovic,
Yes.
Ingwe,
Again, Aaron, I'm so sorry. First of all, Connie Johnson, and secondly, I have to recuse myself again on Michael Kemp because I have a family member who works for the police department.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler. Council President Balistrary.
I also have to abstain again because I have a family member working for the police department.
Motion carries. At this time, if Lieutenant Kemp can please come up to the dais alongside his family to be sworn in by Mayor Robert Coletti alongside Police Commissioner, Councilwoman Pellegrin, and Chief Foligno.
You want to talk about feeling old and how time goes by? Well, do you know, children, that I know your dad, when he was about your height. Am I right? It's a long time ago. So it's not far from my height. Who's laughing? It's great to see you, your chief in the skull. Pride in your name. I
I, Michael Kemp,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office
all the duties of the office
of lieutenant
of lieutenant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. You be quiet. Actually, all staying around. You take the lead on sort of making the. Go. Yeah, we'll start that. Moving along here, Mike, you want to explain where we're going?
Yeah, so Officer Scala, would you step forward, please? Mayor and council wants to acknowledge you. So Officer Scala comes to us from the Newark Police Department as a transfer officer, comes highly recommended. My staff did an outstanding background investigation into him, and he has an impeccable record, and he's going to serve the borough well. Officer Scala. You gonna go around?
Get all forward, then.
You want everybody to come up first?
Yeah. No, no.
Okay. Sergeant Prelick, please. You're welcome. Stand by.
No,
Stand on the
stay,
side.
stay.
Sergeant Prelick has served with honor in his many years here with the Elmwood Park Police Department. He comes from a law enforcement family. His dad is a retired police officer there. I apologize, the rank of captain. Outstanding, dedicated officer to this borough. Hard worker, self-starter, earned the stripes, and Mike, congratulations. Sergeant Golden, step forward, please. Sergeant Mike Golden also has served with honor. He is also self-starter. Most of the guys that get promoted, they're self-starters. You don't have to chase them around to get the job done. Mike's a street cop, a good common sense, solved a lot of crimes in the Detective Bureau, and he has earned his stripes as well. Sergeant Golden. Lieutenant Kemp. Mike Kemp also comes, his uncle, Tom Johnson, former police chief here, law enforcement family. Dad served on the council for quite a few years here in town. Great family. Mike, outstanding officer all through the ranks so far, and a true leader. I see something in Mike that he's going to continue to go through the ranks, and there's your future, guys. So keep an eye on him. Mike?
Council, comments, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to our newly appointed lieutenant and sergeants. I wish you nothing but success and continued safety in your daily duties. To our newest officer, Officer Scala, you're joining a force that is really part of a tight-knit community. You know, you see these officers out day in and day out, and they're just a big part of our community. So congratulations, and I wish you nothing but success and safety in all your years in Elmwood Park. Thank you.
Doris,
Yes, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you.
get in the microphone, please. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. so they say. To the new police officer, you have come to a town that's very family-oriented. You have 3 of the finest standing right behind you, and all the rest of our police officers. They are one highest people you could put on the earth. They're angels. They're here for everybody. And the gentleman that just got your new badges, I congratulate you. I see you all the time, and I know you do everything for us. And please, everybody be safe out there. Thank you.
Council President, Sandy?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate and welcome Officer Scala to Elmwood Park. You have joined a department that is second to none. You will be working with outstanding men and women. Please be safe always as you begin your career here in Elmwood Park. Congratulations to Sergeant Prelick, Sergeant Golden, and Lieutenant Kemp on your promotions. These promotions are well deserved by each of you. I wish you much success in your newest positions and be safe always. Thank you.
Lorraine?
Congratulations, Officer Scala. Welcome to our team and to our community. I wish you a long, safe, and successful career here in Elmwood Park. Congratulations to Sergeant Michael Prelick, Sergeant Michael Golden, and Lieutenant Michael Kemp on your promotions tonight. All of you go above and beyond your job descriptions. I wish you all much success in your new roles, and I thank you for all your dedication to our community. Thank you.
Mr. Golombek?
Officer Scala, welcome. I wish you a safe career in Elmwood Park, and I ask that you serve our residents with integrity every single day. To the 3 gentlemen that were promoted, congratulations. You got here through hard work, and it's my honor to support it and vote for it. Congratulations.
Mrs. Ingwe, this is the council person you cannot visually see right now. You'll hear her
Thank
voice
you,
though. It's coming.
Mayor. Congratulations to Officer Scala. Welcome to my blue family. You have joined the best department. It is like hitting the lottery. So welcome. Take care of your brothers and sisters in blue, and I look forward to meeting you when I get back. And to the 3 Michaels of the night, I know them all personally. They are wonderful men. I thank them for their service. They are well deserving of these promotions. And congratulations to you and your families. Thank you.
And for the new officer, it's new to you, but the 3 other gentlemen, they've been around the rodeo here a couple of times. They can tell you that, first of all, you're working for a great chief, no-nonsense chief, but compassionate, which is a nice mix. And as I was telling a former chief that's with us this evening, Mr. Johnson, that we've been kind of blessed here with chiefs in the last couple of decades. And our police force, I think, is better for that. I think each added their own little ingredients. And I want you guys to know, and ladies too on the police force, that what's going on in the country out there, we don't buy into that over here. You got 150% of our backing. Instead of decreasing, we want to strengthen. And don't ever forget that you got the mayor, and I know these people up here are all blue people. And I don't mean blue Democrat and Republican. I mean blue as far as police goes. So, hey, you know, it's it's crazy election season's coming up. Anyhow, but I can attest to the fact that they're also 150% behind you. So don't ever feel that we're not there for you. And I mean that. And I think I'm speaking for everybody from the bottom of their hearts. To the 3 gentlemen that have been here, go with Godspeed, stay safe. The newcomer, follow these people, watch their lead, and everything's going to be fine. Thank you. Yeah. We're going to take a 2-minute recess here and allow the relatives here to take pictures and do what they want to do.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being patient. Those that are listening in this evening, we are going to reconvene our meeting. So to reestablish quorum, council members Fasolo.
Here.
Golubek. Here. Ingui.
Here.
Pellegrin.
Here.
Wetchler. Council President Balistrary.
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Now moving on to ordinances being read on first reading. Resolution R-312-20, introduce ordinance number 20-23 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the code of the borough, specifically Chapter 3 entitled Police Regulations, more specifically Section 3-25.4 entitled Penalties, seem to be deleted and replaced by the language contained herein, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, September 17, 2020 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Discussion? Mike, you care to elaborate on this?
Sure, Mayor. This was an amendment to the fireworks statute to increase the level of the fine, to make it greater, so the court has a little more latitude. This was a year where we had many more fireworks complaints than ever before, and it seemed to be out of control at one point, so we wanted to put a little sting behind the penalty.
Thank you. Anybody else care to discuss? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Ingui.
Erin, I believe I have to recuse the Virginia Police Department issue, but I would like to further keep this down.
You actually, Councilwoman Ingui, you do not have to recuse, so however you wish to vote.
Per our attorney,
And then the vote is,
Denise.
yes.
And that was per our attorney. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler. Council President Balistrary.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-313-20, introduced ordinance number 20-24 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Borough, Chapter 3 entitled Police Regulations, more specifically Section 3-1.2 entitled Prohibited Noises, more specifically subsection 3-1.2H, seem to be deleted and replaced by the language contained herein. Be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard at the municipal building on Thursday, September 17, 2020 at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Discussion? Mike,
Yes, Mayor. This is a repurposing of our construction ordinance for noise purposes mostly. Residents are welcome to read it. The biggest change, I would say, is the old ordinance had dusk as the end time, which that isn't a set time, obviously, seasonally, it changes. So we put a hard number on that, making it 7 p.m. Also on Sundays, residents only can do work, or tenants can do work on their homes, no contractors, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. The rest is pretty much self-explanatory. It was to give a little bit more peace and quiet when we could for the residents.
anyone else care to speak on this? Just let me say that this is well thought out. We tried to get a balance of the mood of the residents and protect them on Sundays, but also not take away the right for a homeowner who works all week to have some time to do some repairs on Sunday. But that is strictly just for the residents. It's not for a contractor. Don't think that you can bring a contractor in on a Sunday, just yourself. Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Ingui.
Yes.
Pellegrin?
Yes.
Wetchler? Council President Balistrary?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to Resolution R-314-20, introduced ordinance number 20-25 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the Code of the Borough, specifically Chapter 3 entitled Police Regulations, more specifically Section 3-5.2 entitled Certified Maps Adopted, more specifically paragraph A1 and A2 and B1 and B2, seem to be deleted and replaced by the language contained herein. Be it passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, September 17, 2020, at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Mike, would you like to elaborate on this, please?
Yes, Mayor. This is bringing our park and school maps up to date for drug-free school zones and park zones. It aids the police department in charging for certain narcotics offenses. It's a steeper fine and higher penalties. It's usually done every few years in general, but it's also done whenever there's a new park or a new school that comes in, and we've had both.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingui,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Balistrary.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-315-20, introduced ordinance number 20-26 on first reading. Be resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park titled Administration, more specifically Article 3, Departments of Local Government, Section 2-33 titled Recreation and Parks Department, more specifically Section 2-33.2 entitled Recreation and Parks Director, more specifically Section 2-33.2B entitled Appointment Term, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 27, 2020 at 12 p.m. or soon thereafter, the same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Discussion? Mike, once again, please, if you'd like to elaborate.
Yes, Mayor. Being that we're in transition with the hiring of a new recreation director, we wanted to take a look at the ordinance and make sure it was up to, today's standards. The only thing we identified was that there was a clause in there that indicated it could be a 5-year term. It was a little ambiguous, and the mayor and council wanted to make that at their pleasure. So that language was removed. Everything else stands in the ordinance.
I like this aspect of this ordinance. The council was pretty united with it in that these additional terms should be done on merit, and it keeps everybody honest that way. Any additional discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingui,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Balistrary.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-316-20, introduced ordinance number 20-27 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the making of public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery in new automotive vehicles, including original apparatus and equipment, in by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $330,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, September 17, 2020 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
Second.
Any discussion? Michael, do you care to elaborate?
Sure, Mayor. So normally we bond over $1 million a year, $1.5 million sometimes for capital expenditures. This year, we're coming in at, we had actually reduced it from last meeting down to $313,000. That was because we removed 2 SUVs from the bond that we actually identified that we actually didn't need this year, so we're going to save that money. I'm sorry, Mayor?
Excellent.
Yes. What we're buying are all new body cameras for the police department. The ones we have are at the end of their lifespan and they need to be updated and upgraded. Surveillance cameras for our borough parks that are having new equipment installed. We quite frequently get vandalism in the parks and we want to make sure that we're able to identify the people responsible for that. DPW is getting a piece of equipment. Building department is getting an SUV. And the fire department is getting a new Hirsch tool, which is about 20 years old.
Thank you, Michael. Just to piggyback on what he had said, we're normally $500,000 to $1.5 million on the bonding end each and every year. So we're way below that. And knock on wood, hopefully, before the year is out, we can stay close to that. Any other further discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingwe,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now for ordinances being read and adopted on second reading, Resolution R-317-20, introduced ordinance number 20-21 on second reading. Whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park titled Administration, more specifically Article 2, Offices Created, Section 2-7.3, titled Municipal Clerk Compensation Additional. Whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, July 16, 2020, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park titled Administration, more specifically Article 2, Offices Created, Section 2-7.3, titled Municipal Clerk Compensation Additional, passed on final reading.
May I have a motion to open for a public hearing?
Second.
All in favor? Ms. Delaney, would you be so kind to open the lines to our public?
Absolutely. At this time, I'm going to unmute the public's lines. For anyone wishing to speak, please state your name and address for the record. And for those that are not wishing to speak, please try to minimize all background noise.
All participants are muted. All participants are unmuted.
Would anyone like to speak at this time on this ordinance and this ordinance only?
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Hillman Drive. Just as a point of reference. Was that 20-21? It sounded like you said? Ordinance?
He wants the number of the
Yes.
ordinance.
Yes, Mr. Freitag.
Aaron, is it?
Yes, it's ordinance number 20-21.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak at this time?
If there's no one else that wishes to be heard, I will close the public hearing. May I have a motion?
All participants are muted.
So
and they
moved.
can unmute themselves.
Second.
At this time, if Councilwoman Ingwe can unmute herself, and we have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Pellegrin, seconded by Councilman Fasolo on this ordinance.
That was the close.
Call the roll,
public.
please.
Any discussion? Okay, on roll call, council members Fasolo,
Recuse.
Golubek,
Recuse.
Ingwe,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-318-20, introduced ordinance number 20-22 on second reading. Whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the undertaking of the Elmwood Park Marina Improvement Project in by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,400,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, July 16, 2020, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the undertaking of the Elmwood Park Marina Improvement Project in by and for the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,400,000 to pay the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds, to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. Pass on final reading.
Before we open to the public, Mike, please elaborate on this ordinance.
Yes, Mayor. So this is for the Marina project. We received grant money last year. We applied for additional grant monies for the project this year. We're trying to get as close to the number that the project is going to cost as we can to limit the amount of money that the borough has to bond for. We do have to bond in order to show for the grant that we do have the money to complete the job. So that's what this is about.
Yeah. Just so the public knows, this money isn't spent. It's just put sort of like an escrow. And when we reach our goal, which was 60%, around 60% with grants, then we would have to be foolish at that point and not to spend the additional amount for what we're going to gain. So that's our goal. I'd like to open the lines now to the public. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Mrs. Delaney, please.
All participants are muted. All participants are unmuted.
Would anyone from the public like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only? Please state your name and address for the record.
If no one cares to speak, I will close the public portion. May I have a motion?
Participants are muted. All participants are muted.
Second.
We got a first and a
You
second.
need to wait until, hold on one sec.
Okay.
All participants are unmuted. All participants are muted.
Okay,
They can
a motion on the ordinance.
Right, we have it, and we have a first and a second.
Okay, who
First,
are
please. Doris?
Okay. First by Golubek, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek?
Yes.
Ingui? Ingui?
We lost her?
Did she unmute you?
I can hear you now, yes.
Yes, would be the vote.
Pellegrin?
Yes.
Wetchler? Yes. Council President Ballasheri?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, that's all we have on the agenda this evening for ordinances. For tonight's consent agenda, we have the following resolutions. Resolution R-319-20, approval of payroll. R-320-20, approval of bills list. R-321-20, authorized vacation buybacks. R-322-20, approve retirement compensation. Police Department, Christopher Liptak. R-323-20, award bid for fiscal year 2020 NJDOT improvements to Gilbert Avenue. R-324-20, award bid for fiscal year 2019-2020 CDBG improvements to Donor Avenue and Echo Place. R-325-20, resolution to refund overpayment. R-326-20, resolution to refund overpayment. R-327-20, approve Elmwood Park Fire Department standby compensation. R-325-20, appoint crossing guards for the 2020-2021 school year. Police Department. R-329-20, authorization to execute service agreement, the Rogers Group LLC. R-330-20, authorization to execute service agreement with Municipal Inspection Corporation. R-331-20, authorized building department refunds. R-332-20, authorized release of cash performance bonds. R-333-20, authorized purchase of equipment, Department of Public Works. R-334-20, resolution establishing compensation for Recreation Director responsibilities. R-335-20, resolution to appoint part-time fire inspector, Fire Prevention Bureau. R-336-20, authorized execution of contract with the Bergen County Department of Health Services. R-337-20, accept sidebar to collective negotiations agreement, white collar, blue collar. R-338-20, accept bus stop changes. Mola Boulevard, R-339-20, approve annual municipal audit report for the year 2019. R-340-20, authorization to execute shared service agreement with the Elmwood Park Board of Education School Security Officers. R-341-20, approve 2020-2021 new or used car dealership licenses. R-342-20, capital budget amendment, and R-343-20, resolution to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, just on two items, 323 and 324, two paving jobs. One is a state grant to do most of Gilbert, and one is a federal grant to do parts of Donner and Echo. Both bids came in under the grant amount, so I think we do the project plus pay the engineer, and if there's any out-of-pocket for the borough, it'll be a couple thousand, if that. So very, very good job in the streets we picked within the grant that we received.
Well, let me just say that's not an easy job that Daniel's undertaking, working with public service and trying to get the best bang for our buck, too. And we do appreciate the job you're doing, Daniel.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasola. On roll call, council members Fasola,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingui.
Yes on all, but I need to recuse on 319-20, Aviana Ingles paycheck only. Also on 322-20, 328-20, and 340-20. And yes on the rest, Aaron.
Thank you. Pellegrin?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes, I would need to recuse myself on R 334-20, my husband works for the rec department, and yes to the rest, please.
Council President Balistrary?
I abstain on R 322-20, 328-20, 340-20, and yes on the rest.
Motion carries. Lastly, under departmental reports, we have the library board meeting minutes from meetings held on February 24th, 2020, May 12th, 2020, and June 1st, 2020.
May I have a motion to accept and file the reports?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasola. On roll call, council members Fasola,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Ingui,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Wetchler, Council President Balistrary.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this concludes my portion of the meeting this evening. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in an attempt to shorten these meetings, coincided with the restrictions that have come down from Trenton, we're asking our council people to either shorten or have no council report whatsoever. However, any council person here who wishes to speak, please come forth.
Please talk
Okay.
into the mic,
In the microphone.
loud.
Okay, how are we doing with the library? How are we doing with the plans? Did the inspector go over to see everything?
I'm sorry, get in the mic, please. Okay, I just barely hear you, you know.
How's the library going? We had to put, a new plan had to be sent to the inspectors to make sure everything was going right. And I understand that they have been working for a couple weeks now. Can you tell me why?
Okay.
Michael?
Before you go in, Mike, we did an investigation onto what was holding it up. It comes down, and I'm sure Mike's going to update on what I'm about to say. It comes down to the contractor who's got pipes in the ground before his specs were approved for pipes in the ground. So now we're doing it in reverse and trying to be considerate and expediting this. We were waiting on plans and specifications for the pipes that are in the ground already from the architect and the builder. Mike, you want to pick it up from there?
Yes, I had a meeting with the fire subcode official, Phil Chesky, regarding this. He had the job before him. He specifically made contact with the contractor, explained to them what's missing, the documents that are missing. They understand that, and they will be, the ball's in their court. So the job can't move until they do their part. It's not the borough's problem.
Mike, they haven't received anything? Because I was under the impression.
They may have received something, but they didn't receive the right thing.
The right ones? Okay.
It was rejected.
Yes,
It was rejected.
It was rejected because it came back the same way as they originally sent it.
correct.
Are you kidding me?
No.
They spend extra money for that to be done too, Bob.
Well, better not get charged again,
Well, I was going to say. Okay.
right?
Exactly. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mayor, just a quick update on the Youth Committee. Yesterday, well, a few weeks ago, I received an email from a Caitlin Loader, who's a resident here, but she's also a student at Cornell University. We spoke at great length via Zoom conference yesterday about, the goals and ideas that we have for the Youth Committee. And she has a very good idea, and we really want to help with the Youth Committee. She also is creating a website called Level Up EP. It's kind of like a mentorship for high school students in Elmwood Park. So she's really involved and really willing to help us with that committee. So I know it's been kind of stagnant because of COVID, but I'm planning after school starts to have that committee meet for the first time toward the end of September. So progress on that.
Excellent. Anything further? Okay, I'd just like a few comments here. The council is in the process of refilling our rec director's position. As you know, we lost our rec director, Donna Puglisi, of 12 years. She went on to a career advancement, and we want to wish her all the luck in the world. The council was in 2 hours prior to this meeting, and as far as interviewing candidates, and we have another hour after this meeting of interviewing. So it's a daunting job being a council person, and it's well appreciated. Based on the conditions here in the state, we are going to remain closed with our municipal building, unfortunately. This is something that we do not relish because it puts an undue burden on all our departments. They are working extra to make this run efficiently. However, based on the fact that we don't have one case that derived from this municipal building, whereas if you take the latest news in Hawthorne, they had closed their building, opened it up, were afflicted by 2 cases, and now they're closed again. We're trying to avoid that. Hang in there with us. Once again, it's probably 50% more work that our departments are doing to maintain efficiency during this pandemic. That's all I have this evening.
All participants are muted. All participants are unmuted.
Council, motion to open to the public, please.
Second.
All in favor? Open it up.
At this time, if anyone from the public would like to speak, please state your name and address for the record. Would anyone from the public like to speak?
Go ahead, Don.
Okay, Jeffrey, thank you. This is Dominic Scalzione, 120 East 54th Street. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I had sent an inquiry in to the mayor and to the borough administrator end of May regarding English Avenue Park. The park has been landscaped all the way to Fleischer Brook. That's at the southeast corner, and that was the end of summer last year. And there's still no fence there, and that has not changed. And it runs about 80 feet. It's just beyond the playground, and it drops down about 8 feet down to Fleischer Brook. So I'm wondering if that's under consideration, that a fence is going to be installed there. And then the residents still complain that when workmen cut the brush through the chain link fence that they're leaving it on the field. One last thing I wanted to say was that area, English Avenue, was without power for 4 days. And it was very gratifying to see the residents helping each other with generators, extension cords, or whatever to keep everybody to try to give power to their neighbors. So it was very gratifying to see that. Thank you.
Mr. Scalzione, this is Councilwoman Ingley. I did not receive an email from you in the end of May regarding English Ave. If you would like to forward that one to me, I can read it and then be up to date on what you're speaking about.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was sent in to the mayor and to the borough administrator That's what I was asked to do. I will send it to you. I sent it to Erin tonight, but
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Scalcione. I did receive your emails slightly before the meeting began, and I already sent it to the mayor and council.
okay. I'd like to know. So is that Councilwoman Ingui? Is that your purview? That something like that?
No, I just wanted to, I know that there has been a couple emails that I've been left off that have been sent by you, so I just wanted to see, I checked my email real quick once you started to ask the questions, and I just wanted to see if I was abreast of that email. So I do have it now from Erin, so I will look it over.
Thank you.
Would anyone else from the public like to speak at this time?
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Sylvan Drive, Elmwood Park. One thing I did notice on the bill list, Alimo, you're being paid $10,292.09 regarding the tennis courts. I don't know what particular, I guess it's for engineering services. Regardless of that, is that a final payment, part of a payment? What is it?
The question, could-
He stated that he noticed that Alimo is being paid $10,000 in reference to the tennis courts, and he was wondering if that was final payment. Is that correct, Mr. Freitag?
Yes.
And you saw that on the agenda this evening?
Yes, it's page 38.
okay,
On the bill list.
Oh, on the bills list, okay.
yeah, Jeff, there is nobody here that can answer that question at this point, and we will definitely get back with an answer ASAP.
The only thing reason I was asking is the tennis court is not really moving along, and I know it's been discussed at length.
Yeah.
And the fact is, some of the burden, and I don't know what went wrong, but I would assume that they were the engineering on the job, doing the engineering,
Yeah.
that they have some culpability. But that is up to their council. But anyway, that is the question. I appreciate your answer when you get it to me.
Yeah, well,
The other question I have is R337-20 on page 84 regarding the sidebar agreement with the white collar and blue collar. It does list it, but it doesn't tell anything what it is. Regarding the contract.
okay. Erin, could you clarify the question?
Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Sidebar agreement.
Yeah, so if you look at other sidebar agreements in the resolution, it doesn't clarify exactly what the sidebar is. Instead, the clarification is included as part of the contract. If I'm authorized to say, I can? Okay.
That's public record anyway.
But it's not.
Mr. Attorney? Jeff, we're going to switch over to our attorney to finalize the answer there.
Yeah, Mr. Freitag, that is a sidebar agreement which is technically reserved as a private matter with the employee itself.
I'm having difficulty.
He said it's a reserved matter with the employee itself.
Okay, well, are you saying I'd have to get an open request, or I mean, most places have the contracts right on the website.
Well, as of right now, the sidebar is not signed. That's what this resolution is authorizing. So if you would like to see the sidebar after it's signed, you can certainly submit an OPA request. And yes, I do submit the sidebar agreements to the PERC, and all the sidebars that have been approved are on the PERC website already. So I would be doing the same for this one. But certainly you could also request it through me.
Public employee relations.
Yes. Yep, so all the sidebars are on that website.
Okay, and likewise, but it's not signed yet, so.
Exactly. So if you want to reach out to me after it's signed, I can certainly release that information.
Okay, thank you. Next, one thing, I know Mayor Coletti mentioned that one other meeting. Is he referring to the one on August 27th at noon?
What was the
At
question?
a third meeting this month?
Correct.
We're going to have a special meeting that is going to be tailored for these, probably the announcement of our rec director. Yeah, that's the one. No, but it's on the 27th. It's not next week, Jeff, it's the week after that.
That one will be a virtual meeting?
It will be held just like this meeting is being held via teleconference, and I will post the information on Facebook and the website.
Jeff, I think it'd be safe to,
Regarding the attorneys there.
Jeff, I think it'd be safe
Having,
to say that any meetings going forward are going to be typical until we open the building. So I guess you can go on that assumption that they will be Zoom, I believe this is called,
Teleconference.
teleconference.
okay, because meetings from the people from the public have been there. I don't know.
He's saying that people from the public have been in the building. So I think
Hey,
he's
Jeff,
wondering why it's going to be.
Jeff, listen, I don't want to go there with this because I know where it's going. Right now, we're scot-free, clean in this municipal building. The workload is much greater for our departments by not opening the building. So there's nobody here that wants the building not to be open. It's just a wise move to make.
I don't know if you're really understanding me, but I'm saying you do invite some members from the public to come.
Case-by-case basis.
Just that somebody goes through.
Yeah, well, there's some situations where we have to let them in because the boxes in the office outside in the foyer.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about at your meeting.
And what meeting are you being specific about?
Tonight.
When?
Tonight.
Oh.
The last meeting you had too.
Right, well, you have a situation here where you have a police officer getting sworn in.
I understand that.
The first time in their life, the family wants to be here. The way we managed it was that there would be one family in here at a time. We made sure that we were maintaining our restrictions dealt down to us by the governor. We're doing all we could.
I'll tell you, look at the last meeting, and I'm not going to say about masks and everything, but there was a person sitting right up with no mask, right there, the fellow who does the food. So that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on.
Would anyone else from the public like to speak at this time?
Aaron, I believe Dean Freitag was trying to get on.
Okay, Mrs. Freitag?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay. Would anyone else from the public like to speak at this time? Please state your name and address for the record. Anyone else?
No one else wishes to be heard. I will close the public hearing.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
May I have a motion?
So move.
Excuse me, Mayor, we're going into executive as part of the public meeting, right? That's the only way we can do this.
Yeah, what's the legality of that?
Well,
An unannounced
no,
executive.
it was, so we had an executive meeting for the interviews prior to this meeting. We did not finish, so we need to go back into executive. So we need a motion to go back into executive.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, everyone listening for the public, we will not be having any matters that need formal action after the executive session. So thank you for participating in tonight's meeting.